Hello and welcome to Savage Podcast, where discussions are unscripted conversation and limitless insight. Today we have Jackie Caraya, a generational wealth builder. Hey, Jackie, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Jackie, first, before I start the whole process, I have to talk about why is it that you and I are wearing the same colors? We have our choker on, black glasses, pink top. Like
We didn't plan this.
we did not plan this, but people wouldn't really
Did
think
not
that we
plan
did. Like,
this.
I mean, people may think I'm naked, so let me just put it on a little bit. Like, this is just crazy. We showed up looking at the same in the same
Right?
clothes. Boy, I'm
Right?
telling you about alignment. So, Jackie, before who is Jackie Caraya?
Well, Jackie Caraya is a Guyanese Canadian immigrant born to entrepreneurs. I came to Canada at the age of 16, and from
Mhm.
the age of 19, I joined the financial industry world, and I have been there up until I got laid off in 2011. I was unemployed for 2 years, and then I became a financial advisor, now a wealth builder, which is almost the same because I'm licensed. It's just how I choose to practice my business.
Okay, so how are you choosing to practice your business?
Well, when I first came into the business, more of a career advisor, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of conduct the business based on how the corporation wanted to do the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you sell insurance and you do investments. From my perspective, I build long-term relationships and get to know the clients and then see what their needs are. And then I build. So when I say my goal is build generational wealth, the whole concept of this is I don't want to see the future where you're my client and you're going into retirement or you age in poverty or in debt.
Mm-hmm.
As especially as an immigrant, I see a lot of that, because of a culture. And we're going to talk a little bit more of the blueprint, the financial blueprint. But
Mm-hmm.
my goal, my purpose in this journey as a wealth builder is to change the mindset of people, from believing that we were born to struggle.
But why financial wellness? What made you choose that field?
Can I, like, so you know what, can I say from day one, I think this field chose me, because when I
Hmm.
came here, I came into the business not because I wanted. It so happened that I came to Canada at 16. My mom was an older woman, so we didn't have the finance to go to school or to make a decision. So I had
Mm-hmm.
like 2 years high school here, and then when I came out, I was like, where do I go? And it happened that I my sister had worked for the bank, and so I applied to the bank, and so that's how I started. And from there, it's just like I never left it because I just kept growing. I just kept going in different part of the financial sector. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like I stayed at the bank. It just so happened that I just stayed in it. And as I grew older, I realized that this was the best place to be, because everything we do comes back to finance,
Mm-hmm.
come back to money, right? But I
So
think this, go ahead.
why do you think there's so many people? I'm gonna say let's call it what it is, or Caribbean people,
Mm-hmm.
or West Indian people
Sorry,
are
excuse me.
struggling. No, that's fine. That is struggling so much with finance.
In all of us, it doesn't matter if it's West Indian, Canadian,
I know
African.
everybody, but I was just,
For our West Indian people,
mm-hmm.
we have what we would call programming.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unconditioned belief that has been passed down from generation to generation, and this can go as far as the colonization. But it's what we were taught to think, and how we didn't have the freedom, not me and you, but our ancestors didn't have the freedom to think for themselves, right? If we go back to my great grandmother, grandfather, they were shipped on a ship to come into the West Indies, to come
Mm-hmm.
on the plantation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so their lives were dismantled, first of all, and they were now being told what to say, do, and what not to do, including religion. The massa choose their religion for them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So So you're looking at generational of people that have been brought those struggles onto our generation today, which we're continue to pass it on to our children. Right? But a lot of times we don't even realize that they're on conditional programming that are it's underneath. It's invisible, so we don't see it. Like the whipping you could see, but you can't see the conditional programming, right? Until
So,
it's either, sorry, recognized or pointed out, right?
okay, so let's say Mary Jane is just living this life over and over and over again, living paycheck to paycheck. But she's not asking the right question. Because I know you are an individual person. You said you build relationship with your client, right? How would you, let's say a client coming to you and she's saying, you know, I can't afford, let's say, I'm going to say insurance, or let's say savings. She can't take $10 over a paycheck to put aside because this is how, you know, she just have enough to survive and pay bills and da 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 da. How would you start having a conversation with somebody like that?
Well, first of all, if she's willing to sit with me, that's a start. It means that she wants to do the work. She wants to do what is right. So we will start with what she has. We will go through, well, that's where the budgeting come in, or just going through to see where we can, you know, maybe clip certain things, right? Maybe she's one of those people that loves a coffee every day. And, you know, I'm using simple things, right? So let's say she likes to buy maybe 2 coffees or eat out every day to lunch. We would, I mean, as much as we don't want to think of the lack mentality, sometimes we have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. Right? So if we could start training her to say, let's start making your coffee or buy a flask, right? And, you know, take that coffee on your drive to work, then buying a coffee, or instead of buying a sandwich, why don't you just go get a loaf of bread and start making sandwiches? You may see us all of a sudden, she starts saving $6 a day or $6 every time. Like, I mean, a prime example we could say is Donovan, my partner, my beloved, right? So he used to buy 4 coffees a day. And because he saw my ad, he stopped buying the coffee. So he went from buying 4 coffees a day to no coffee. And without even realizing it, he had changed his lifestyle just because of that one ad. And what it actually did for him in the long run was his sugar, his pressure went down, and his sugar went down.
Earlier on you mentioned that it's due to programming why a lot of us is stuck in this mentality of don't understand wealth. And you know, so I understand that you're going to be telling or teaching and walking people through how they can save money, but also do you introduce programming or unlearning old habits?
And that's something that I'm that's why coming into the fall, I'm actually going to put out a course. So it's not going to be for everybody, because I mean, some clients don't want to do that. You know,
fine,
there's everybody's in different stages, right?
Definitely.
But if you have like a young family, or even a family like in our age, because you're never too late to start saving, right? And they're like, you know, I make the money, I make good money, and you know, but I can't save it, I can't keep it. Like I make 150,000, but at the end of the year I have nothing to show for it, right? And the question, and this is something that I've been asking some of my clients as we go through the process, is, you know, what has happened to you as a child? And it kind of stopped them in their tracks. Sometimes they know already, and sometimes it's like, what do you mean? And it's like there was this one person that I knew that the father and mother were always arguing about money. And one time they were at a restaurant, and they were like, he was just start coughing, and he ended up passing out. And in a while after, he passed away. Well, the daughter, just from that moment, she couldn't keep money because she saw money as pain.
Wow. So that's what you correlate that.
So her father's dead. So, I mean, she had to go get help. But in her situation, pain and money came hand in hand. So she didn't want anything to do with money. She'll get paid. She had a great job, but she would spend all 150,000 at the end of the year because to her, money meant pain.
It's just crazy how when these circumstances come along when you're growing up and you realize it's impacting you in so many different ways.
And especially as the West Indian, as West Indian people, we were always, and I don't know about Jamaicans, right? I'm talking about my Guyanese people. And I think that is so English, colonization 100%. They teach you how to hold a plate and how to set the table. Don't talk your story to the world, ship it onto the carpet. So you could be in pain, but you must walk out there with your head up like nothing's wrong. Cover up the shame, right? But on the streets, you must be pure and everybody thinks life is great because that's how we were taught.
You know what? It's a Caribbean thing. It's definitely
and that's very colonized. Like that's all part of the English upbringing.
Yeah, it's definitely what happens in the house stays in the house, basically.
Right.
So you could be suffering in silence and nobody know what's going on. And it's so funny that you said that because it's still happening today because people are still saying, shh, be quiet. Whatever happens in the house stays in the house.
Stays in the house.
But I'm realizing that nowadays, like a lot of our Gen Z people and the younger people nowadays are talking because you have persons like Mayan, yourself, and so many more people are having a voice and say, no, it's not okay. Let's talk about it.
Right. Because we're in the information age. See, before, and that also is part of even the financial part of it, is that we are in an informational age where before that, we were in the industrial age. So even the way that we did finance, we can't do it anymore because, and I'll say that to you because, you know, when I look back at RESPs, and I'm not saying RESPs is wrong or right, I'm saying I'm going back to RESP. It was created in 1974. I was like 3 or 4. It was in the heart of the industrial age. Today, people are coming out of university and there's no jobs for them.
No.
Right? So it means that we have to teach the Jensen and the millennials not to now tie up all that money in our RESPs instead of just throwing all that money in RESPs just to find out that, Johnny came out of school and now he has a business online. And what is mom going to now do with this money? Now she has to, revert it back if there's no other kids and then charge all this taxes on her thing because, that again is another problem.
But do you notice that though, that the millenniums are also not investing so much into, I know you mentioned RSP or let's say bonds and TFSCA.
Right.
I noticed that what they're doing now is they're doing a lot of trading.
Right.
And I
find there's a lot of online stuff again, right?
Exactly. As you said, technology, but also at one point I know they were huge in real estate and stuff.
Right.
I realized that the millenniums are not into that. They're into quick cash. And that's also could be an issue if they're doing all of this exchanging and whatever and do not know how to put their money into something that's going to be exactly. And I realize there's a lot of quick fix.
But I do know we do have the Jensens are not going to work as hard as we did. They're not going to. They've already said it. They just don't believe in this 60-hour work week.
No, they don't.
So their mindset is different. I think it's great that they have that mindset. It's just that if we can work together to still be able to curb some of the stuff that we can help them with, then they'll turn out to be the best of all of us. Meaning, when I say that, it's just that technology for them is really quick. Right.
But there's so much things coming out now. I mean, the AI we have, like everybody's so techie, and young people is running to the techie. Then you wonder what's going to be happening to the economy. Like, I mean, the balance. Like I can't see the balance. I know it's balancing right now, but as things turn,
this is where the universal income is gonna slip in supposedly,
yeah, of course
right?
they're going to take time to slip that in, because I was even watching this video earlier. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I'm all over social media, and it was a lifeguard that was sitting, and this lady showed us that it wasn't even a real person, it was a robot.
Right.
And you could tell from the way she was moving.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you have all these AIs and these robots taking away everybody's job. But as you said, they're going to take time slipping,
Right. So the trick to the robot is that they can't think.
Yeah, we know that,
Right.
right?
That's the only
But it's
thing that
just
you would always have
crazy.
to be a one up on them. That's all.
Always, always.
Right.
And also we're gonna jump to something else. Thank you, Jackie. This is so amazing. I noticed that you're not fond of the GoFundMe. Why? Why aren't you fond of the GoFundMe?
Coming back to exactly, it's not, I'm not, it's not, you know what, it has its place. But I think we as human beings are not tapping into the power within ourselves. And we're constantly behaving like a weak race by always wanting somebody to take care of us. And I want to make that um because trust me, to this day, I still get comments, whether positive or negative, on the recording I did about the GoFundMe.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe because I came here as an immigrant and I knew that I took all the strength I have in myself to build the life I have. And it's not that I want to put anybody down, but I want people to know how powerful they are. We are powerful human beings, right? And if we were to tap into that power, we would have such a beautiful life, right? And when I say that, like, get $20,000 to bury your dead, and then what? And
You know
then
what it
what?
is? I think that I believe the video that you made, it's not only you and persons who are against it, is that there's a trigger point. It made them uncomfortable because they know it's true. So then you're going to have all those naysayers saying, ah, no, 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 that's not true, but it's true. But at the same time, we do understand that with balance and speaking to someone, people can afford certain things because they can
For
afford other
sure.
things. You know what I mean? So those who's fighting against it, it's a trigger point for them.
Can I say something that is going to really tick some people off? The fact that we had a president that actually had a GoFundMe account and got so much money from it. What do you think? It's actually, everything starts from the head, right? So you have that president who says, I need a GoFundMe account. I can't remember exactly what it was, and he got like 70 something million dollars because people actually contributed to it. What do you think it's doing for the people that below him?
If he can do it, so can I, and he has money, so why can't I? I see where you're going with this.
Right. And I know where that argument came from, but I know when we're doing this recording, you only also have X amount of time. And when I say, when are we going to stop relying on these things to take care of us, is because it's a beautiful thing when, I like to see myself as a financial doctor, because when everybody's gone, it's a really, really beautiful thing when you walk in. I can't bring that family back. But boy, it feels really good when I put that $500,000 in that family's hands. Right? Because I know that ma or whoever this can stay home for a year and plan out how she wants to handle her children. Or that husband, after his wife dying from cancer, after being off for 6 months, trying to go back and forth to the hospital with his dying wife, he could now take that money and do whatever he wants to do before he makes a mental decision to go back. And that's where I was coming from. It's not so much, oh, you get 20,000 from a GoFundMe account, then what? You go back to the stressful job, or now you're battling where you got to drop babies at daycare or drop babies at somebody's friend because you got to go back to the job.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you can make better choices.
So they're more stressed out about the money versus the person.
Exactly.
I know, I get what you're saying, but the thing, as I said, it's always a trigger point especially when people are talking about money, even if it's not
and it is
reflected to them, but they hold on to it because of how they feel about it, right?
And so the thing is, it's not the money, it's the fear. And the fear is a habit. And
Yeah.
so it comes back to where we're talking about, and all of this stem from the childhood, the past. What happened in your past to trigger these things for you to be that way, right? Even the fact that I'm here about to renew my mortgage, and it was a trigger point for me, and I had to check myself. I had to check myself because I'm like, wait a minute, this interest rate does not reflect who I am.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I had to check myself because even it was a trigger point to me just because of this whole bum 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 bum, and I had to say no. I have a license to make unlimited income. Stop being sorry for yourself. Get on, get your ass.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because people have to also realize that although you're a finance person and you're a generational builder, we also go through our whole trials and tribulation. We're not perfect.
Exactly.
We're going to have the down moments. We're going to have our own moments, and we have to always, but we'll come back. We have to come back to source and realize that, okay, this is not the end all be all. I can do this. You make up your mind and you do what you do.
Right.
And so what intrigued me about what you do is the basis of that you pinpoint that you are a generational wealth builder. Because a lot of persons, we don't dwell, because I was watching a program the other day, and I think he's a multimillionaire, and he says his money is his money. His kids has to create their own money. So
you know what? I don't know. And you know what? That could be like that could be Kevin O'Leary.
I can't remember who it was.
But I was like, but you know what?
Oh, he said it?
Yeah, well, he paid for his son education and everything else. It's just that once he finished school, he cut him off.
Wow.
Right. And that's, but he's an engineer. So it's not like he cut him off with nothing. He had the money to pay for him to go to school. Like, engineering is not cheap.
Yeah. And here we are. I guess it's different anyways. Here we are because our generation's been coming from nothing, and here we're literally starting to build up. So our family and our future grandkids and our great grandkids can starting up with something.
Right. So the simplest thing, because I have this triangle, right? When I talk about the three areas that I focus on when it comes to generational wealth, and the one is life insurance, and then we do investments, and then real estate. And the reason why I go that way is because, to create, like, let's say you wanted to get a home or start doing real estate, it sometimes might take a little longer, but you can start with the life insurance first, making sure that you protect the house, the nest, and then we can go a little further where it's the oldest, safest vehicle that you can use to build generational wealth. And it is so played down in North America, but it's been around through the Great Depression. Disney World took that same money and started Disney World. McDonald's did the same thing, but it's only today now we're hearing more about it. And again, thanks for the informational age that we're in, that we're hearing more about this life insurance and how great it is. So we can, if a client said, oh, I only have, and I mean, especially the young moms with kids that are receiving like 600 or 700 a month for a child. If you were to take away $100 or $150, $200 to put towards that child's future, by the time that child hits 20, they become their own bank. It might seem, what are you talking about? I'm telling you, that parent can draw from that life insurance and put that child to university. Or if that child didn't want to go to school, honey, you want to go into become, what do you call those people that go and do a apprentice?
Okay.
Or a trade. That money could go towards that. Or they wanted to start a business, or they wanted to go to Paris and become a designer. Right? The money is there. You're not putting that mother in debt, right? They can draw from that life insurance. I'm just like, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I say I made sure when I do the pyramid, it starts with life insurance, investments, and then real estate. And I'm not saying about the man who's already established and now he wants 2 and 3 properties. I'm talking about looking at, And that's
Mm-hmm.
how, for me, that's where I focus. Now, everybody will be different. But for me, how I look at a family, because I'm in a family market,
Mm-hmm.
a family with, with small business owners and individuals. So that's my market. I call them the FBI, family, business, and individuals. And so that's why I focus on that, because again, we're not looking at people who already have, the Kevin O'Leary that has the billions of dollars. And I know he does have tons of life insurance, because these are guys that don't play with that stuff. But I'm talking about the family market, where they might be saying, well, how can I afford this? This is a perfect way to start. Let's just start protecting the nest,
But
the
and
family.
I'm glad you said that. So do you think, let's say, just because you brought up his name, the O'Leary guy has so much money, you think he has life insurance and he has million? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's born in Canada, honey. He could only live in the US. Listen, a man who sits down with a lawyer to prepare a trust fund, he's properly protected.
Mm.
I listen to a lot of stuff outside of just that finance. He's sell companies. Yeah, Raymond, what's his name? John, the other guy, he himself came out and said, he had problems when he first, he had a multi-billion company, and he didn't know about finances and whatnot. What's his name? Raymond John. He's a part of the Shark Tank, right? And he's now
Okay.
coming out with children literature books, and he's been open about it. So he had a little different, but Kevin O'Leary, he came from, his father died very young. So he was raised by a stepdad, and there were certain things he was not willing to put up with. So he know what it's like to not have, and he came from Quebec, right? So Kevin, I do believe he does. He's, yeah. I mean, even if he's not, the man is low.
That's what I'm saying. He's
Everything is
loaded,
in
right?
trust. You can't touch his money. So
Exactly. So
he
I can
dies tomorrow,
understand.
the trust will take care of everything.
And because you brought up about interests, wills, what's your thought on trust and wills for family?
Okay, so because trust is something I don't know the full in depth about it, but trust is going to cost money. So
Definitely.
again, if we're just like, if I'm looking at a family that has 3 or 4 homes and their intention is to pass it to the next generation, yeah, you better go see a lawyer and get that stuff taken care of, and set it up on a trust, right? Because I think in Canada, trust doesn't work the same as the US.
I know
They
it's
have a
different.
deadline in Canada, right? So I don't know if it's 22 years or something. So there's a clause in there. It's not the same as the US. So you would have to definitely, I would say, sit down and have a discussion. But if you have properties or property, you should have a will. And actually, it's funny because I know there was a lady on there who had asked for a copy of the power of attorney, and I actually did print it out.
Okay.
I did print it out. So I mean, just to start, I know the will part could get a little complicated, but just even to start with the power of attorney, there is one on the publication.gov.on.ca/300,975.
And you can just download it and
It's
do it,
free.
but you
Yeah,
have
and
to get
it's
it
the whole,
notarized.
it's a guide, right? But
But
the nice part about it is that, if you're a little savvy with Word, you can actually pull it out and put it in Word and set it up nicely instead of doing like this.
but
You
you have to
understand?
get it notarized though.
You don't have to. You get a 2 witness, not the people who you put as the executor. As long as there's 2 witnesses that are on there, it is valid as if you had gotten it through a lawyer. That's the beauty.
Really? I just assume to get anything legal, you'd have to get notarized. I mean, yeah, you can put out
You can get it
everything.
notarized, and I think it's like, if you want it, you can go to a lawyer, but you have to take those 2 witnesses, or the lawyer and his assistant will sign it.
Yeah,
And then
just to stamp it. You put their stamp on it.
right, but they have to see you sign it, and the witnesses has to be there.
Because I remember when my mom died, that's what we had to do. We had to
Right.
get it signed by a lawyer. So
It doesn't have. I mean, it goes into detail telling you. But
no, and
as
that's
I
good that
know
you're
for a
saying
fact,
that, because
you need 2 witnesses.
in my thought, I assume that it has to be notarized by a lawyer, or Wow.
As long as you put something on paper, even a
Mm-hmm.
will, you don't have to necessarily go through the whole thing. Like the last client I had that passed last year, it's him and her did it together. When she passed, he just took the letter that she wrote and signed her name, saying that, mind you, everything was joint with the two of them.
Mm-hmm. So it
But
was
when he
easier.
took it to the bank, he just showed that this is her will and this is the death certificate, and she's passing everything to him, right?
Just like you make it sound so
It
easy.
is. It is.
So
Like,
why are people making it so complicated and then not doing it the
well,
right
it could get
way?
complicated. Like mine is complicated just because now there's assets. There's you know what I'm saying? But if it's just like, as I said, if they were to do this part,
Mm-hmm.
this alone is $400. So even if they had to now pay for the will or get a will kit, you can go on Law Depot and pay $39.99 and get the one off of there. It doesn't have to be that complicated. You can go online and get it on Law Depot, and you have it there forever and ever. You could amend it as you go along. I think they give it to you for a year. It's $39.99 or $29.99. You fill in the
Wow.
stuff and you print it out. And if you want to add extra stuff, then you say in the body of it that add blah 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 page to it as an amendment to the original blah blah blah.
Wow, Jackie. Why? I swear, like I didn't realize it was so easy, to be honest with you.
Okay, I mean saying easy. I'm
I
saying
shouldn't say easy. You know what? It sounds, I mean, as you said, information is out there. Well, all we have to do is look for it.
right.
Because to be honest, I've come across so many people are having issues with the bank, with the government, and it's a simple matter of click, click, print, sign, boom. So that
Mm-hmm.
would eliminate all the
Mm-hmm.
stresses.
Mm-hmm. I
And
have a
and
client right now
that's why the
that
reason why I said that it's so easy. But you know what it is, Jackie? It's not
knowledge is
talked
power.
about. It's not talked about.
Knowledge is
Exactly.
power. Knowledge is power. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I take things for granted because I'm a reader. And anytime anything comes across my desk or I see things, I take the time to print it off and read it. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
have so much crap sometimes around me, because I'm always printing stuff and reading, because I don't ever like to be caught with my pants down. And I guess that's the nicest way to put it. But I also know, be in the corporate world for a long time, I learned how to cross my T's and dots. And when it
Yeah.
comes to reading contracts, I got really good at it because I was like so tired of people telling me blah, 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 blah. And I said, I need
Mm-hmm.
to know this for myself.
You know, I
Right?
just wish more people were, I'm going to use this word, inquisitive in their own stuff. It's not bad. That
Yeah.
when I said inquisitive, I mean if they could just read more and figure figure things out. Because if when my mom died, it's a good thing that when she got sick and we just start reading more and trying to figure out what we need to do. Because we take Jackie, we take things for granted. We just assume that everybody's going to live every day, and there's
No, for
no, you
sure.
know what I mean. So
Sure.
when people are in that frame of mind, especially if you're working, you're working 9 to 5, you come home, you have kids, you know, we're constantly going, 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 and we don't have no time for ourselves.
Right.
You know what people forget. But I just believe that it's stuff like the conversations that you're having, the blogs and vlogs that you're doing, this podcast, and just talking about it and make people realize that, you know what, snap, snap, we're not going to be here forever. Look at my dad. I spoke to him today. He died 4 days without even knowing that he was going to pass off. You know what I mean? So it's
But we
like
take the highway every day.
every day. Listen, girl. Ooh. So I'm gonna ask you a question, right? And I talked about how people are just keep constantly going, 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 and forget about themselves. Call it for what it is. Like I don't think some of them don't remember about me days, and them thinking them going to get their nails done every 3 weeks or their manicures and pedicure. I know you do your thing. Thinking that's well-being, right?
Right.
So
No.
my thing is, Jackie, what is your thought? Do you think sensuality can affect your financial goals?
100%. It's programming.
Thank
Now,
you.
if you're coming from the church, like, okay, I'm gonna use myself
Mm-hmm.
because when you started sensuality, I had to do the search, because again, I came from a church where you shouldn't have sex before marriage and sensuality is it's all sin, blah 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 blah. So again, don't get me wrong, I'm constantly evolving, I'm constantly growing, I'm constantly doing my research. So anytime I don't like to get surprised. So if I'm uncertain of something, man, Google is my best friend.
Thank God for Google.
I'm telling you, I don't play with Google. I just go and I Google it and I get my thing, and then I could come back and fight with a straight face, or I can challenge whatever, or I can speak back, whatever, because now I have knowledge. Because knowledge is power, right? But imagine you already was raised, and for me, I'm grateful for my mom. She was a big woman like myself, right? And so it's only now I'm hearing these things that she's passed, and how my dad used to talk about her weight and whatnot. But I think because, when she got over all that part of, the licks and whatnot, now she got it out of her system, she started to see me developing in this kind of sluggish way, because I was now getting breasts and everything. And she really imparted in me about loving myself in that craziness that she was, chest up, being who I am, and start to just see me for who I was, right? So that part, I sometimes might say I'm very vain. My hair had to be right, going into the inner body and start taking care of who I am. But there's a lot of people that are raised downplaying this sensuality of smell and touch and feel. It's like a sin. So all of that, we were born with those natural instincts. Smelling the trees, smelling the outside air. We were born with that. And you're now telling me that we should suppress it, or not to take care of who we are internally.
Exactly.
Right? This is the programming that it's all part. I mean, I'm focusing on the finance part of it, but this is all programming. And these are things that are going to affect your finances. Because as I said to you with that lady, when she saw her father keel over after fighting with her mother, right away she saw money and pain.
That's a super, yeah.
Think about it now. What is the trigger point for that person to all of a sudden feel withdraw from money? It could be a part of the sensuality. It could be part of the fact that, touching the money, maybe my mom beat the hell out of you for touching the money. You don't know, right? So yes, it's sensuality is a sense. It's touching, feeling, smelling. It's about you. It's about how you touch your body. Do you actually feel good when you touch your body? It's deeper than just thinking it's sex. It's about you having a relationship with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
it starts with you.
Yes, because sensuality has nothing to do with sex. As you said, it starts with you. It's about how you're showing up.
So when you love you, then you could love everybody else around you. But if you don't love you, what do you think you're showing up as? You know what I'm saying? Like I know an individual who said, I haven't looked in a mirror in a long time. And I said, well, you better buy one. No, buy two, because I love my mirrors. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, oh, but you're pretty. I'm like, and I'm fat, and you're not. Go get a mirror.
No.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
I understand.
I'm pretty, but you're skinny. Yeah, and I'm fat, and you're not. Go get a mirror. Because that's how you're showing up. And then you want somebody to love you. This is that baggage.
But exactly. She wants somebody to love her in that baggage. And that's what happens all the time. It happens more often than one.
You don't love me the way, how are you showing up?
You don't even love yourself. You don't love yourself, and you want somebody else to love you. I really, really, really love what you just said, Jackie.
I mean, come on. I just told my man coming down to the office, I said, I love when you look at me that way. Ooh, it makes me feel good. But I don't love me the way.
But this is the thing, though, confidence. And then people may think that, we're not born with this.
Right?
No. We had to grow in and then evolve in this person that we are. Because, man, as Caribbean, we used to get beat down. I remember being told, I was looking in the mirror, not on my how I was looking, but I think there was something in my, and I must stop looking in the mirror because I'm being vain.
You know,
Again,
I'll go
programming.
a forward of an older woman, and I mean, God rest her soul. There was something on TV one time, and she was from Guyana, but you could see she was raised in the church, and I even wonder if she was molested. And she said the woman got raped because of the way she dressed.
Of course, I've always heard that. I've heard that time and time and time again.
I looked at her and I was like, boy, I'm gonna keep my, because again, respecting your elders.
I've heard that. You know what? I've been told that too. I remember back in the days, you know, when you're young and you're cool in your short skirt and your tight clothes. Somebody looked at me and said, "You're gonna get raped one of these days."
But
why would you say that?
You're literally cursing this individual because every word we speak is a prayer.
And it was somebody out of the church. Again. Anyways, we're gonna tighten this up. Jackie, how can the audience reach you? On what platforms? And how can they be in touch with you?
So if they need to reach me, you can actually send me an email on my webpage. It's www.nwminc.ca, or you can reach me at 905-493-8425.
Awesome. Jackie, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about generational wealth building. So many great nuggets, and I appreciate you. Hopefully we can have a second one in telling persons how to start releasing so they can start attracting wealth and from moving from stagnant to flourishing. So thank you so much for joining me. For those who are watching, please follow us, share. And Jackie's like, ah. And again, thank you for joining me on Savage Podcast. This is Donna Savage. Until we meet again, bye.
Bye.